Cotton built fortunes, shaped nations, and left a legacy that still echoes through history today. Yet for many of us, the full story of cotton is connected to slavery, economics, race, and global trade, and it still remains largely untold. However, my next guest is on a mission to change that. Brother Slavery is the creator of Can You Teach Me About Cotton, an educational movement helping people to understand how one simple crop became central to some of the most important chapters in human history. With Juneteenth approaching the United States, it's a timely conversation about history, freedom, remembrance, and what we can learn from the past. So please welcome Brother Slavery to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Trevor. Thank you so much for having me on today, and I'm so grateful that I made it and made it on time.
Yeah, you did. You did. We won't tell them. We won't tell them. Look, for our listeners, can we first, I want to hear from you about, because it could be the first time that they're hearing about Can You Teach Me About Cotton? What inspired you to create the project, and what do you hope people learn from it?
Oh, beautiful. Yes. Oh, it's a long story, but a beautiful story. So when I was 5 years old, my dad came home from South Carolina, Wegovilla, to Florida and planted a cotton plant in front of our house and told my siblings and I to know our history, and that changed my life. And so I felt a sense of urgency with that. And we watched the plant grow, and then I watched Roots every February after school from like the first grade all the way to the 12th grade. And in between that, I got into performing arts. So I have a performing arts background, particularly classical theater, Shakespeare and all that stuff. And I felt as if I had plateaued in that. I won all the awards I felt were necessary. And it was just like, I was like, what is meaningful to me? What's next? What's the most important part of my career or purpose? What's my purpose now?
Yeah.
And I was looking for that. And I kept going back to that cotton lesson that my dad introduced me to. And because he introduced it to me with love and with respect and reverence, I didn't have the same stigma around cotton as my peers. And so during COVID, a little bit before COVID, it was September 25th, I planted a cotton plant in my grandmother's backyard after taking a theater break in Berkshires. And then that was September 25th, got a job at a nursery, and then the cotton plant bloomed February 18th, 2020. COVID came March 13th, and then everybody was shut down. And I'm in the house, like, studying about cotton and growing cotton in the backyard. And my family's like, dude, you're supposed to be on Broadway. What are you doing in the backyard planting cotton? This doesn't make any sense. Even though it was COVID, it was we don't understand where you're taking us with this cotton that you're growing. And learning that it's made of green, brown, white, and tan. And then, like that money is made of 75% cotton, 25% linen, which is why we haven't received Harriet Tubman on the $20 cotton note yet, because to have her on the $20 cotton would make America responsible for slavery.
Yes.
So we were literally picking the money out of the field, if you want to look at it like that, And so this just started driving me and moving me, because the theater, as I mentioned to you a little bit before, was a little bit sanitized. A lot of it sanitized. And I went to see a play last night, and it's just like, what is going on here? We'll talk about that later if you wish. But I started doing pop-ups in Florida, and, at the African American Research Library, off Sistrunk. I was doing pop-ups at, the Farmers Market in Margate, Florida. One of the pop-ups I did at the African American Research Library, a little girl came up to me, and her grandparents brought her over because she was in some sort of like festival. It was some kind of Juneteenth project that was going on, I think. It was something going on, and then the kids came running over to me, and this little girl in particular came up to me, and she was like, "Can you teach me about cotton?" Broken. The heartbreaking part was that we were closing and we were leaving, so everybody was getting pushed and kicked out. So all I could do was bless her with a cotton plant, a free cotton plant, and then just leave. But it stuck with me and it broke because I was like, I failed.
No. But you never. But can you see? And this is what I feel. You tell me if. But can you see how the ancestors were pulling you, getting you to where you are now? These little things to go. These little touch points. The little girl, your father. Can you see how they were leading you Because someone had to
Absolutely.
tell these stories. Someone had to
Yeah.
see that connection, the
Yeah.
economics, as you said, pulling out literally dollar bills to feed. Yeah,
Literally.
can you see the
Wow.
ancestor, the power there?
Yeah, Trevor. Thank you so much. 100%. Completely. But it was just like, I guess that ego in me, that father energy me and the masculine in me
Mm,
was like, I want to do the best that I can do. I want to give this girl
mm,
everything I can, because she just stood there 10 toes down, smiling like, can you teach me about cotton?
yeah,
And I could not in that moment. And so with this mission, I've dedicated my entire, this mission to that
mm,
question.
yeah.
And every day it pushes me like, what do I know about cotton? Am I actually teaching people enough? Am I actually balancing the cotton and the jewelry and the education and all that stuff
I
in one?
love
Because
it.
there's just
I,
so much going on.
So I love that. So she said this, can you teach me about cotton? You then took
And,
that because the ancestors were calling you. You then put
yes,
that in as the trademark. That is the stamp now.
that's it.
Can
That's the
you
step.
teach me about cotton?
About cotton. She got me.
Yeah.
She called me out. She called me out. She was like, "Are you that guy?
Yeah.
Can you
Have
do
you
it?"
done enough? Have you learnt
Never be
enough?
able to do enough. I'm doing the best I can, but I will never be able to do enough. I just keep researching, keep creating,
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
doing it, keep answering.
No, but that's
But it's
why.
like I'm
But
right
that's
on
why
the
she
mission.
said it though, brother
Yeah,
slavery. That's why she said
I,
it. To
I
keep you
know.
on the journey, to keep you
Oh
researching,
God.
to keep you in depth, pulling out, understanding. So look, you and I both know, but again to our listeners, and you touched on it there in terms of the history of cotton, okay, and why it's so important now to make the connector to the modern
Mm,
world, okay,
yeah.
and
Hmm.
the frustration, no doubt, that you feel, okay, when you think of not just African Americans but Black people in a modern day and how we still consume everything else that is given
Yeah.
onto us when actually we have the power and in fact we're the ones who have built up.
Build up, yeah. The entrepreneurial spirit, that is something that we have innately and
It's
it is
innate.
passed
It's in
down.
us.
And like we have to, hey Blue Jay, oh God, it's a Blue Jay. What are you calling for today? I love it. So listen, like right there, as soon as you said that. So yeah, and now we shop at so many brands that are not us, that are not. So the value system has
Yeah.
changed. Yeah, I think the value system has changed to wanting to get as much popularity as
Mm,
possible,
mm-hmm,
and not, and particularly with men, I notice.
mm-hmm.
I make jewelry pieces that are, for me, it looks like a peacock, it looks like a lion mane. Why doesn't this brother not want to wear this and walk down the street?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a shame, or just there's a blockage there, or a concern about what other people are going to say about you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't care about their opinion. So, I think they settle for small pieces like bracelets
Mm-hmm.
and rings and stuff like that. But in nature, the foliage, when it comes to the pillage, I should say, what is the word? With the peacock, the feathers, I should say, excuse me, early. The peacock is like, they've got this big plumage, something like that. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah,
plumage,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
hope that's the word. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it's used to attract. But so many men are like shrinking.
Yeah.
Black men, golden men are shrinking.
We
And,
shouldn't. We should be
I'm
proud. We should wear them as crowns. We should,
like, seriously.
you know.
And you have a crown.
I have a
Trevor.
crown because you gave me one, and I've got a
You're
ring.
the only man that has bought a crown from me that is blue in America. No. I haven't had a man yet. I don't think I've had another man since you to buy a cotton picking crown. I swear.
I love my cotton picker crown. I'm going to take a picture and send it to you, and I'm going to wear it when I come back to the States as well. Because I saw you last week, but I didn't have it on me. But I had the ring, and I forgot to wear the ring. Look, through this journey, what have you learned? Not just about yourself, but about people when they receive you. Because I know now that your book has gone into the Schomburg Museum.
Schomburg on 35th, yeah.
Yeah. So how have you felt? How people have received you, and what lessons have you learned about yourself on this journey?
I'm learning that, man, the love is real.
Amen.
The community and the love is real. The support is there. People are watching. People are really healing.
Hey.
And they're like moved deeply. And as a leader, because I know you are, and I'm going to speak about something. every leader has their own, or every person has their own scars or their own thing going on. And the thing about it is, for the longest time, I thought that people could see my bleeding heart or a scar that happened. People don't see it. They see what you want to give to the world, your heart of hearts. And because of that, I'm like, okay, what if I just do the work, be of service, and not have to talk about what that scar is about, so that I can actually still show up whole and be able to be of service to the community.
Amen.
And I'm finding that people are like, no, we love you.
Yeah.
Whatever that is that happened, that happened. But listen, you keep showing up being a light in the community. We love you here. They buy the book, they buy the jewelry. 90% of my business is supported by Black African American and Black international peoples. And it's just like that. It's like 7% Latin, and then of course 3% other.
Okay.
I don't have too many people, 90% us. That's all I can say.
3% white and Caucasian. That's fine. We'll say it. So look, it's true. Hello. And that's okay. So look, Juneteenth, Friday the 19th. How important is that to you? And what are you doing for that?
Oh,
and remind people what Juneteenth is as well.
Ooh, Juneteenth is like, it's very tricky, Juneteenth. All right. So Juneteenth is a celebration that all enslaved peoples were free, because I believe it was definitely a place in Texas that still held African American people in bondage. In 1865, we were emancipated, I think, April 9th, and then Juneteenth is when everybody got word. So there were enslavers that wanted another crop planted before they had freed their enslaved people. So they waited to tell them. And so,
like, pick my crops first and then we'll let you free.
Yeah, that's why we celebrate Juneteenth in America. And then the thing about it is, I think it's somewhere in Florida in May 20th, that's when people in Florida also, some parts of Florida, heard that freedom broke, as they say. So it was still like they had Florida in May, and then they had Texas and stuff like that in June. And that's when everybody can say, okay, we're all free now. But that's what we celebrate Juneteenth for, which is that everybody got their freedom, and that they tried to play a game. It's an acknowledgement that the game was still being played even when freedom broke. And not only that, one of my mentors put me on to, I think it's called, God, look this up, oh my God. When freedom broke in America, the white people in the South some of them in the South that did not want to deal with emancipation, packed up their enslaved people, and moved them to Brazil, where slavery was still going on. You can look this up.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I don't know if you heard about it.
No.
Until 1888. It starts with a C, and it leaves me, everything's leaving this morning because it's early. And
that's fine. I'll look at it. I didn't know that, so you've just taught me something.
Freedom powerful. They literally said, okay, we can't have enslaved people here.
So we're going to go
pack them up and move them to Brazil, where slavery is still in play. Wow. So it makes Juneteenth look like a fruit juice. You know what I'm saying? What they did, just to continue that demonic behavior. So,
wow. So what? Thanks for that, because you just taught me something. And I don't want to get too deep, but
Confederargo, something like that. I think it's Confederargo.
Okay, I'll look at that. So what are you doing for what are you doing for Juneteenth?
I'm doing what I always do. I realize, okay, I have to do what I always do, which is go to 125th Street and be of service, because I will tell you why. Because
yes,
there's a doomsday in Philadelphia. There's something happening in Brooklyn, and then there's something happening at the Schomburg, and I just get completely overwhelmed because I'm like, listen, I ain't got no cotton picking wife, no cotton picking children. So this is my own reality. Okay, I've created my own reality that I can understand. And I'm like, okay, I can't do everything.
No, you can't.
So I have to go where I'm always at, where people know I'm at.
Amen.
They think, oh, cotton, ding, 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 ding. Let's go to 125th. I'm going to be there.
Good.
You know what I'm saying?
Good.
Versus trying to go truck it, mega bus it to Philly.
No.
Get on the train it's just too much.
No.
Thank God. The book is in the Schomburg. Let me show actually.
Yeah.
For people here. This book, which I collaborated with Michael McLamb, and several gorgeous models here. Can You Teach Me About Cotton Volume 1? It's in the Schomburg. And basically, this is Volume 1. And I'm so happy this happened because I always thought I'm still answering that question. Can you teach me about cotton?
Yeah.
I thought I wanted to create an animation for kids. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize I could still do bit by bit, Volume 1, use the models, and basically tell the story there. So, like, one of my favorite pages is this one here, where these two guys here, one of the models.
For our listeners, this is really the color and the richness, but oh my God, just the endowment of the cotton, the dress from head to toe. They're kings, emperors. I love it. Yeah, I love it. So this is Volume 1. Volume 2 could eventually be the animation. It doesn't matter, but there's a series here. You take your time. You get into, you listen to the ancestors. You're on purpose, so you don't need to question. You're on purpose. So don't feel the rush. Like you said for Juneteenth, my place, my space, hell, 125th Street. That's where I'm supposed to be. Period.
That's where I'm always at. Everybody knows me to be there. And even I'm grateful the Schomburg even sends people there if they ask about me.
I love it.
So it's just like I don't have to kind of court every darn way.
No. Brother Slavery, look, you've got to come back because we've only just kind of touched the surface here. I really want you to tell people how they can find out more about you on Instagram, if they're interested in the book and how they can purchase it, because if they're not in the States, and tell them where I found you as well on 125th Street, honey.
Thank you, Trevor. You're amazing. Oh my God. So I'm Brother Slavery. You can find me on all platforms at Can You Teach Me About Cotton. You can also go to my website at canyouteachmeaboutcotton.com. And I met this beautiful brother on 125th Street in Harlem. He was dedicated. He supported the book. I mean, he supported the jewelry. He'll support the book too. He's a beautiful soul, and I just am so grateful. Like, you're giving me flashbacks to when I was in London, for 90 days, and then, of course, I was in Scotland at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe doing a one-man show out there. So thank you. Thank you for finding me and putting me on your platform, and I'm so grateful I made it on time. I was like waking up like, I'm going to oversleep. I'm going to be here. I'm like, okay.
It's absolutely fine. Thank you for coming on the show, Brother Slavey, and I'll see you soon.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Be blessed, man.